Welcome back to this latest episode of the Spillin It podcast, our fourth episode. You may have noticed we're a couple weeks behind. We've had a lot going on in our work and personal lives. Jesse and I have both decided to expand our families. Jesse adopted a dog. I adopted a cat today, actually. Legally, I guess not ours yet, but we're working on it. But
Eh,
we're back. We're excited to be back. Jesse,
Formalities.
how have you been, man?
Good, good. Been staying busy. Playing a lot of Animal Crossing, getting ready for the new update coming out here in January, but
I saw that there was a new update and I was
I'm
like,
excited.
that's pretty cool. It's been like out for so long that you would it's kind of like Stardew Valley, which I still play obsessively, and they're still every time they're like, we're done. But then there's just one more update. It's really
One more
nice with
thing.
games
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. So this first segment is something that we haven't done yet, something that I'm excited to talk about here.
Me too,
We
honestly.
very rarely just rant about things. We kind of keep things, we have our criticisms, we have our qualms about things, but we very rarely just like vent. And I think in this current state of the world and this economy, I think it's good for us to let this out every now and then. So I came up with this idea just because there's been one thing in the sporting world that has been driving me absolutely crazy.
I'm so
Okay,
ready.
you ready for this?
Hmm.
I am 8,000% over sports gambling right now. I am completely over it.
There go 60% of our potential advertisers.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I
Oh, the
really am at
cooking.
this point because here's the deal. Every week it seems like we're getting some sort of story about some athletes taking a payment or doing this or regular bets going on. We had Emmanuel Clase, one of the best closers in Major League Baseball this past week, start to get tied up with the feds in this. And it's really getting to a point where the leagues cannot act surprised anymore. When you have league owners having equity stake in these gambling companies, you cannot you
Hmm.
lose the ability to be surprised at this point.
Yeah.
You don't have that opportunity anymore. And every single thing about sports, you cannot talk about it, it seems like, without having some money line there, some sort of over under. And I'm like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I have done parlays. I've done it. It's enjoyable. I understand the appeal behind it, but it's just everywhere. And
Yeah.
it's so ubiquitous at this point that it's too much. It's too much for me.
I'm with you. I want to add two quick notes on the Emmanuel Clay story, because I think that they're hilarious notes to add. The season in which he was accused the most of, taking well, not taking dives, I guess, like throwing balls for
Yeah.
$5,000, which is also a hilarious amount of money for a millionaire. I don't know, man. Some people just have a compulsion. That was the season that he almost had the Cy Young, or had like a Cy Young worthy
Right.
season, which I think is hilarious. In the season where you literally were just throwing away pitches that you were just so on fire that it didn't matter. And then did you see the anecdote about the time that he was supposed to throw the first pitch ball to Andy Pajes and he just chased it anyway?
I
And
didn't see that
the
part.
the
That's hilarious.
lawyer, or like the better bookie, whoever, texted Emmanuel Clace basically and was like, "Hey man, like what the hell?" And he sent like a frowning gif because he basically was like, "What am I supposed to do? Like I threw the ball way outside where a credible hitter would have taken a hack at it, but Andy
Look,
Pajes was like, I can get this ball."
if
Um,
he's sort of the hobby bias, like you got to hit the backstop with that. You said, "Oh, it slipped." You're like
he's like me in MLB The Show. There is no pitch thrown that I'm not like, I could get to that. Yeah, that's a triple down the left field line.
that
Um,
animation where the batter like goes like this and moves out of the way have saved me from so much embarrassment in my life.
It
Just
did not
because
save Andy Pajes, and it
it,
might have ruined Emmanuel Clace in this instance. Yeah, I'm with you. I do an occasional parlay. I
yeah,
have friends that work in the space, and I who I I'm not going to name their companies or anything, but
yeah,
I enjoy the occasional bet. I usually bet like $1.
yeah.
I'm not a very pro gambling person personally, just because I don't enjoy it as much. I like, that impossible like $1 parlay where I'm like, oh, $1 to win 30, because that's fun
This
for
is the
me and
one.
it's low stakes. But I'm not a big time better. But I do feel like it's gotten to a point where it's just so ingratiated with, I'm thinking about like watching an NFL game, watching NBA games. heck, you cannot watch Red Zone without constantly seeing
Mhm.
money lines or spreads or here's the preferred props. And ESPN really now it's no longer what it used to be. It's like
No,
sports betting shows and like dudes that are like mildly popular because they say crazy things. It's no
yep.
longer like a real network to me.
No, it's not a
And
news network anymore for sure.
yeah, and I agree with you, Jesse. I think it's just so much and it's so saturated in the market, and that's not what I'm here for. I
No,
don't watch sports for that. I think that, something that they kind of started are these, alt casts, and there's like a gambling alt cast. That's fine if that's how you want to
yeah,
watch, but
yeah,
I just want to watch ball, man. That's all I care about.
yeah. And it's just one of those things, and it gets to a point too where the reason why I actually had this idea for it was when Andrew Nemhard went down in the first game of the season. I'm trying to go through Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, and I'm just trying
It's
to get
Twitter. Don't
updates.
call it X.
And I'm just trying to get updates on an injury, right? It was one of those things like shoulder injuries are weird. It can be one of those things like, oh, he's going to be sore for a little bit, or he could be out months. He needs surgery, right? I'm trying to get updates because we don't have a point guard on the team that I'm cheering for currently.
Hmm.
And I'm just trying to get an update. And it's all these people talking about how Nemhart ruined their parlay and they're tweeting at FanDuel saying, hey, are you going to refund this? Like, I just want the news, man. I just want the news. And that was
Yeah.
the part that really got to me. And then you also have the people who are getting in players' DMs,
Yeah,
telling
I
them
was
that they
about to
messed up their
say it's
parlay.
really
Like,
enabled that.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like it just it becomes too much. And like I said, there is a space for it. Absolutely. Am I saying it should be banned? No, no, absolutely not. That's ridiculous, right? It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but there has to be, in my opinion, some kind of separation of church and state here.
I agree 100%. I just, yeah, I think people never should feel emboldened to slide into athletes' DMs and talk trash up to them. If you want to like post on like a fan page, that's fine. You don't need to be DMing Tyrese Maxey because he missed a three in the fourth quarter of a blowout win. And then especially you don't need to be saying some of the awful things that you see. Unfortunately, it feels like every other day you see a screenshot of like an athlete that's just like tired of being treated subhuman and
Yeah.
posting something that somebody said behind an anonymous profile. That's another like I don't really believe in anonymous profiles in this day and age, but
No,
that's
I
that's
don't
a
either.
whole other that's a whole
That's
different
that's
genre of
a
podcast.
that's a whole other thing. But hey, we can get into that because this is our pod. Who's going to tell us not to?
Okay, that's a really good one, Jesse. Honestly, I had something specific pop to my mind, and I honestly didn't really consider any alternatives. But I probably would have gotten to yours also if I had thought about it. Mine, ironically, happened today. And it's well, or the inciting incident happened today, and so I think it's a symptom of a bigger issue. So the Mavericks fired Nico Harrison today.
Mhm.
I don't know how many days or months after the Luca trade, but I think it was
Right.
like February, right? So like,
Yeah.
half it the second half of last season, and then however many games they've played this year, like 8, 9, 10, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
What my rant is I just don't understand the way that leadership is being operated in with sports franchises these
Mhm.
days. And I think that it's a symptom of just the way that our society is, not to be like, but like the way that our society is of instant gratification.
Yes.
And then also not being not I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a little vulgar, but not having the balls to stand behind what you did.
Hmm.
What drives me crazy about this, I think firing Nico was a good move. Like I
Yes.
think he made some good moves for the Mavericks, but overall, his major swing was awful and like
Yes.
literally crippled the franchise. A franchise that has such passionate fans that are now disinvested from the team. Like you gotta work pretty hard to do that. Um, but the issue is, if you were gonna like, what? Why fire him now?
It
If
doesn't make
you're gonna
sense to
let
do it
him
now.
make this move, you have to see it through at least a full season. If
Yes.
if if enough of the backlash is like, oh, we didn't know it was gonna be so bad. Come on, you traded Luka Doncic. You had to know that it was not gonna be popular. Even if you thought fans would get over it, you had the game plan. And if you didn't, that's malpractice.
It is.
Um, and then so like now you let him make this franchise altering move that you've now decided publicly was a mistake, but you can't have it back. So now you don't have a GM. You have Cooper Flag, which, has been a little bit rough so far, but I think ultimately in the long term will be good for you. But like now what? Like you just let this guy make this choice and then you asked him later. Like in the NFL you see these coaches that whether you think Brian Callahan with the Titans, for example, like is a good coach or not, he had 20 games to prove that. And it's
Yeah.
not like he inherited a roster full of talent. I mean, they picked number
No.
one in the draft this past year, not because he was a bad coach, but because they
Yeah.
didn't have anybody on the roster. I mean, they were
And they're probably going to
trotting
do it
out
again.
yeah, and they're about to do it again, and that's part of why they're firing him is and part of these things like you never know what's behind the scenes or whatever, but I think you just got to give guys at least two full seasons at
Yes.
that level unless there's something so catastrophically bad like there's player mutinies or there's some sort of harassment or bullying that's going on.
Right. If there's like
I
an
just
Urban Meyer situation,
Exactly,
that's
yeah.
yes.
Stuff like that where there's off the field concerns. But if you're just purely going on like on the field results, I just think it's crazy where we're at now, where these guys are just judged so quickly,
We're doing
but
the
then
same
they're
with
also
quarterbacks
allowed and
too.
empowered to make these moves. I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
Yeah, and we're doing the same thing with quarterbacks too. We're expecting these
Yes.
guys to be immediate starters. Can you imagine Peyton Manning coming into the league in this day and age and having that season that he had his rookie season? Oh my goodness, it would be the narratives around him being a bust would
Hmm.
be astronomically high. And I know I completely agree with you. If you're going to let guys make decisions, either you trust them or you don't,
Right.
right? You either trust them or you don't. And if they do something in the example of Nico Harrison, right, where he makes such a big move, if you don't agree with it, you get rid of him immediately.
Right.
Like that has to happen immediately, or you have to have your hands in the pot enough as an owner to not let it happen in the first place. And that's what happens when you have these hands off teams, right?
Hmm.
So that's why when I look at the Colts and I see Carly Ursay Gordon on the sideline listening to things, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, go see what's happening on a day-to-day basis, right? That
Hmm.
is your investment. That is your team. Make it happen.
And that's why I don't think he's any good at his job anymore. But it's why, in a weird way, I kind of respect Jerry Jones because at the end of the day, he's as involved as any owner
Mm-hmm.
is in their team. Now, many would argue, including myself, that it's to the detriment of his team because I don't think he's got it like that. But at least he's involved. He's the one that takes accountability or dodges it at the podium, regardless. And then yeah, you have like Patrick Dumont, to my understanding, just not really that involved with the Mavericks, which
No.
is fine. But then you have to hire people that you trust and then trust them to do their jobs. Like
Yep.
I think about it all the time. Like if I was fired for like missing like a deadline at a work project, like that would be crazy. Like if it was like, hey, sorry, this social media post was supposed to go out at 2, but I didn't get the photo in time, so now it's going out at 3. Like that would be insane. But that's the standard by which we're holding these guys. There's no tolerance for failure. And I understand, sports is a business. You have to win and lose. And I have no problem with firing guys.
Yeah.
But I just think that this pattern of short leashes just makes it almost impossible for people to have success unless you have, some sort of superstar coach or superstar GM. Like exactly, like Peyton Manning's a great example. If he came out and did that now, they would have done him just like they did Will Levis, who now
Yes.
granted, I'm not trying to defend Will Levis, but
Right. But
he
no, it's the same
was a very
concept.
similar rookie in the terms of there were definitely some highlight plays, but also a lot of boneheaded turnovers. That was Peyton as a rookie. Quarterback is a great example. You look at some of the guys that are lighting the league on fire this season. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are two great examples. Geno isn't having
Mm-hmm.
as great of a year this year, but he's been a pretty productive quarterback for the last couple of years. It takes time. And
That's
I just don't think athletes are being allowed that in instances where they show promise or
absolutely
leadership. Although, Fire Nico was good, but
yes.
but it brought up this issue.
But we digress. Let's go ahead and catch up with some NFL. I'm not going to go into, extreme detail about things, but just to kind of wrap up the last few weeks that we've missed. Patriots continue to dominate. The Colts not necessarily dominating, but they're making moves. They're still winning football games, and they've been competitive in every single one, including the two losses that they have. The AFC North is an absolute mess right now. The fact that the
Yeah.
Bengals, with a win this upcoming week against the Steelers, could potentially put themselves back in a driver's seat of scenario of sorts. Absolutely blows my mind. And how about this one? The Packers are in third place. They're in third place in that division right now at 5 3-1, which is very interesting because we were about ready to crown them on our second episode.
We were, but here's the thing: the NFC North. I feel like we said this in that episode too. We were like, we believed in the Packers, but we highlighted, the obviously we were thinking Lions and Vikings maybe. Probably didn't see the Bears being 6-3, but that's a really competitive. The NFC North and the NFC West are the two best divisions in football
Yes.
right now, and I don't think it's a contest. You've the AFC West is good because the Chiefs are obviously, a misleading 5-4. But I also think the Chargers are a little, and even the Broncos are misleading with their records. I just, the Packers, man, they're so frustrating. I read an article today on The Athletic about whether Matt LaFleur was coaching for his job for the rest of the year. And on a surface, I was like, that's crazy. Like he's a top five coach. Like they're in the playoffs every year. And I guess maybe this kind of goes into this isn't really as much like giving guys time, but a little bit about like standards. They currently are the 7th seed in the NFC, which would
Yeah.
be the third straight year that they're the 7th seed. And it's like, okay, yeah, you with the moves that they made, you would expect more from them. So I don't know. That's a situation to monitor because I do still think the Packers could beat anybody on any given day, but also they can throw up an absolute egg, apparently, just like last night when they just did that against the Eagles. Tucker Kraft going out huge and probably the most
Massive.
seismic injury to a contender this point in the season. Obviously, there were some big injuries that happened earlier in the year to some key guys. I think Tucker Kraft going down is going to kneecap the Packers in a really unfortunate way for them. Also, their defense is playing at an elite level and is just going to get squandered because they just
Yeah.
make everything look so difficult. I want to highlight really quick, Jesse. You pointed out the Patriots. I think that's a good shout. I think that the Patriots, Colts, and Broncos, obviously what everybody expected to be the top three teams in the AFC. But I also want to highlight a couple other teams that have been a lot better than expected. The Seattle Seahawks have been
Yes.
studs. Their defense is awesome, and their offense, they have the most efficient passing game in football right now. JSN is probably going to keep Jonathan Taylor from winning Offensive Player of the Year because
Hmm.
he's on just truly a monster pay. Honestly, they should split it this year. I don't
They really
usually
should.
buy for splitting, but it's pretty hard to separate those two team successes from those players because they're the
Yes.
engines of those offenses. I also want to highlight we talked about them as a playoff team. I think we both picked them to make the playoffs. The Rams have been awesome.
Yes.
It almost feels comical that we spent most of the preseason talking about Matthew Stafford being in like a Gulf Stream, getting like futuristic treatments to his body because he's played literally the best football of his life right
It
now.
looks incredible.
He hasn't thrown a pick since week 3. He I
Wow.
think leads the league in touchdown passes. It's he's got like 20 some. It's up
It's
there.
something crazy.
They've been awesome. I do want to briefly. I don't think that they're very as good as their record is, but I want to give credit to the Bears. 6-3 again. Their point differential is -8 on the season, so I think that's a little bit of noise. And they've had a
A lot
lot
of
of
it's that
last minute
Detroit
wins.
game, though.
They've had a lot of last minute wins, but honestly, sometimes when you're bad for so long, you don't really. This is like the Commanders last year, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think we all kind of bought into the Commanders a little bit because of Jaden Daniels, and this year their old players have been shakier and injuries have really hit them. But sometimes when you're bad, it just feels good to win games, and
Yes.
it's a credit to a younger team that hasn't had a lot to cheer for in a while to at least be in this position right now, where midway through the season they look like they could make the playoffs.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I agree. Caleb Williams has really been more consistent. I think that's the big thing is that he's not making those massive mistakes because he's not on his back every other play.
Yeah.
That's been huge is that Ben Johnson does such a good job of getting the ball out quick. And they have the weapons to make it happen. Roma Dunze has looked like uh, the pick that he was supposed to be
Huge
all
stride
along.
this year from Adunze.
Yes, absolutely massive. He's getting separation. I really like what I'm seeing from Chicago. Like I said, do I think they're like full Super Bowl contender, full go this year? No, absolutely not. That defense needs
They
some
have to play
serious.
defense half the game.
Yeah, it needs some serious TLC. But if I'm a Bears fan, I'm extremely happy with the strides because
Mhm.
if we had another season like last, we were going to have some serious conversations about the guys that they've been drafting. So
Yeah.
moving forward, looking at week 11, this is a weird week. I'm looking at, the teams on bye like the Colts, but just got some different matchups, some ones that I think are going to be intriguing, a lot of interconference stuff going on. So Thursday, we're going to start it off with the Patriots and the Jets, and I think we don't really need to spend a lot of time on this one. I think you have what is the best team in the league right now versus the worst team in the
Oh,
league.
I'm not willing to meet you there, but they are one of the hottest teams in the league. I'm not quite willing to say best, but it is
I
encouraging the way that they won this week against the Bucks, where Drake was good, but he wasn't like Jesus Christ himself,
right.
and other players on the team stepped up. I did think that was encouraging. I don't know. The Jets have this weirdness to them of we not. It's almost like they fired their coach, right? Sometimes you fire your coach and your team like kind of responds with spunk. They just
Yeah.
traded a bunch of dudes, and I mean, they played the Browns, so with a grain of salt. But I definitely think the Patriots have this one by far, though.
Yes.
Best team in the
Um,
league. It's lofty.
it's either them or, in my opinion, Seattle. I think,
I think it's Seattle right
yeah,
now. I think it's
yeah,
hard to match
they've
them. But that's
looked.
what's so fun about this league is we have so many teams
Yeah.
that we didn't expect to be at the top jockeying for that position.
Well, and you put me on game a few weeks back when you talked about Seattle's defense because I'll be honest, I'd been sleeping on them a little bit, and I spent the last couple of weeks because I have JSN on my fantasy team, and I'm like, I actually really do need to watch Seattle and see what they're all about. And I mean, they picked apart Arizona, who is not a top shelf team by any means, but it felt like varsity playing a JV squad. It
And
truly did.
having Sam Darnold in one of my fantasy leagues this week, he had like 6 fantasy points and they scored 44 points to tell you a little bit about like what Seattle is capable of cooking up on any given day. He
Absolutely.
threw 12 passes.
Next one we got is Commanders and Dolphins. That starts off our Sunday slate. That's the Berlin game for this week.
I think
This is
it's
a weird
Madrid, isn't
game.
it? Isn't it
Or
in
yes, it is
Spain?
Madrid. Yeah,
And the only
Berlin was the
reason I
last
know
one.
that is because I saw a tweet. Terry McLaurin is not going to play, but he is going to travel. And I saw a tweet that was like, LOL, he just wants to bring his girl to Madrid.
I can't blame him. I really can't. I'm sure it's lovely this time of year.
He said, I ain't showing up to work, but Shawty, you want to take a trip?
This one's on the house. It's on the Commanders. I'm just kidding. They make their players probably pay for their flights.
I kind of
Uh,
doubt that. I don't think they do. It's one of my favorite
it seems
stories to
like a
read
Dan
every
Snyder
year,
thing to
the
do,
logistics
even though
thing.
he's not in charge anymore. That feels like a Dan Snyder
Dan
thing to
Snyder
do.
would have made them pay their way, but I
Yeah.
think Josh Harris is bankrolling this one.
It's kind of like that Onion article I saw that the Bengals were making Joe Burrow pay for his own surgery that he had. They
But
wouldn't take the health
they
insurance.
would. They're like, dang, you got that Cobra healthcare. All right, I'm gonna take the lead here since I broke Jesse. I'm going Dolphins. I actually don't know the status of Jaden Daniels for this game because I'm a bad podcast host. I think
He's
he's
out.
still out. I thought he was like done for, but then they were like, yeah, he might come back. I don't know, man. It doesn't matter. No Daniels, no McLaurin. Vibes are all time bad in the nation's capital there, on a variety of reasons, not just for football. And I'm not buying Miami's performance against Buffalo, but I think that they actually low key have not been as awful as their record would indicate. They've been
Right.
competitive in a lot of games, and Washington has no defense and no talent really healthy and available. So I'm going Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. And again, not just because of the Bills upset. I think that was a lot more the Bills beating themselves than anything else. But Tua has looked better in recent weeks. I think him and Waddle have had some decent chemistry going. Without Tyreek Hill, it's tough for that offense, obviously. But Achan has been an absolute revelation the last couple of years for
Yeah,
them.
they've been running
Absolute
the ball
great
well.
pickup. So again, I think they do just enough in that to win. Next one on the slate, we got Steelers and Bengals. This is a weird game. If Burrow's playing, I think it's a very different situation, but I just on paper, I don't see anything that tells me that the Steelers don't win this game. Especially Trey Hendrickson is going to be doubtful for this one as of right now. So we'll just have to see. But for this one, I got the Steelers, but I'm not 100% confident in this one, to be honest.
We're gonna continue the time-honored Spillin It podcast trend of me not feeling confident in the Steelers pick at all. But I am not taking the Steelers. I am taking the
Okay, okay.
Bengals. Look, I know what the Bengals defense is and what it's capable of, which are heinous crimes against humanity. However, the vibes are cover yours, Cheyenne, listening next to me. The vibes are all-time catastrophic to me with the Steelers. What they just did against the Chargers was really tough. I don't know. I'm sure the Steelers will win this game because the Bengals defense is garbage. but no Trey Hendrickson is tough, but I feel the most confident in the Cincinnati offense in this game of all four units between the offenses and defenses, and I'm just gonna ride with that. But I feel like it'll be the Steelers will probably win, but I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Next up, we got Bills and Bucks, and this one was actually really hard for me. I think if you would have asked me before Sunday, I would have just taken the Bills and been like, the Bucks have been fun. They play hard. I think it'll be a close game. But the Bills have frustrated me this year, and they're kind of my secondary team to watch just because I am a big Josh Allen guy. And watching the Bills last week against Miami was one of the most frustrating football experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And I watched Curtis Painter play starting quarterback for the
I was
Colts.
gonna say you've seen some bad ball, buddy.
I'm an Indiana fan. I have seen some bad football, right? It has been a rough go, but we are also, shout out to the Hoosiers, no longer the most losing team ever.
Whatever.
Take
Wow,
that,
you're the second
Northwestern.
most losing team.
Take that,
what a rise to
Northwestern.
grace.
It has to start somewhere. Um, I took the Bills for this one. I'm not in love with the pick, but I just don't think Allen has that kind of game 2 weeks in a row. But it's starting to get to a point for the Bills for me that I am getting concerned. If they start looking like they did last week against the Bucks, then I'm starting to sound the alarms on some of the things happening in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think this game all of a sudden became really important for both teams
Hmm.
because they're coming off losses in games that they probably thought they would win. Obviously, the Patriots have been really good, but I'm sure the Bucks thought that they would handle them there. I just think the Dolphins game for the Bills, I don't know that there's any major lessons to learn other than things we already knew, which is they need more talent at wide receiver, which is just
Hmm.
an annual issue for the Bills. I feel like it's just a burn in the tape game. I feel like they respond pretty strongly and convincingly. I'm not worried about Tampa Bay. They just have a lot of injuries to their skill position players, and they're not the
Yeah,
same team without that depth. Emeka Egbuka has had a monster season as a rookie wide
huge.
receiver as a number one option, but I just the cracks are starting to show a little bit for the Bucks. That they could prove me wrong, and they're still a very good team, but I think Buffalo is going to have a really intense week of practice and come out with a vengeance.
I agree. Next one we have is Bears and Vikings. And if you would have told me at this point in the season, back in week one, that I'd be taking the Bears in this game, I probably would have told you you're insane. But the Vikings are just so wildly inconsistent to me, even with all the talent that they have at the skill positions. It just really 100% depends on what JJ McCarthy decides to do with the football. And I don't have a lot of confidence in that right now. Not to say I don't think he's going to develop. I'm just not a believer in this exact time.
You don't believe in
And
nine?
no, not right this second. Um, but for me, it's just going based off the vibes of the Bears. I've liked what I've seen from them. I think it will be a closer game than some people think, just based off of how things have gone lately. But I do think the Bears do enough to come away with it.
It's ironic I spent so much time hyping up the Bears because I think they have no shot in this game, and I don't think it's because I think the Vikings are so good. I just think, and I do think Caleb has been a lot better this year. I just feel like Brian Flores has some nasty stuff cooked up. I think what they were doing against Baltimore, honestly, was pretty good defensively. They just couldn't really sustain anything offensively. Enter the Bears defense, which will provide JJ McCarthy a fertile ground to expand his skill set, gain some experience.
Hmm.
I feel like Minnesota is better than their record. They've just had some wonkiness at quarterback and a lot of inconsistency. And no chance is probably like aggressive, but I feel like I felt pretty confident in picking the Vikings. It's also in Minnesota, which I think
That does make a difference.
makes a difference.
Next one, we got Texans and Titans. This is just a bottom of the barrel AFC South matchup here. The Texans coming off of what I think is actually one of the funniest wins in
It's
recent
hilarious.
memory. Just whenever I watch the Jaguars, it's a hate watch for me being a Colts fan. But that one, it's one of those things. It just warms your heart,
Is it
seeing
more of
things
a
like
hate
that
watch
happen.
of the Titans or the Texans for you?
For this one, it's more of a hate watch for the Titans. I can't stand the Titans for some
That's
reason.
fair.
And there's just something about CJ Stroud I like. I know Davis Mills started last week, and I think Stroud should be back this week, hopefully for them.
Would hope so.
But with this one, I'm taking the Texans. I think their defense is going to absolutely swallow Cam Ward whole. And I don't really see a path forward for the Titans to score enough points to even make this game competitive.
Yeah, I don't think I need to add a lot to it. I don't think Houston is very good, but I think that they have the best defensive end pairing in football with Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. And Derek Stingley is a monster. Jalen Petrie has played well. Their defense just has so much. Aziz Al-Shaair, when he's not headhunting, is a good linebacker.
He hasn't lost
So
his
so
ever
very
loving mind.
infrequently, because that dude was put on this earth to assassinate people on a football
Yes.
field. But yeah, I feel bad for Cam Ward because he just doesn't have help, and the offensive line hasn't taken the step forward that they thought they would. It's going to be tough. They do have some young talent in Tennessee. Hang in there, Cam. I believe in you, but not this
Stay
week.
upright. This next one, we got Panthers and Falcons. Could go either way. I was impressed with what I saw from the Falcons last week, especially defensively. I thought they did a good job mixing up the pressure. You just can't contain Jonathan Taylor right now. And I think if a couple of those breakout runs go a different way, that's a very, very different football game for the Colts. For this one, now, I'm going to go ahead and take Carolina. I think it'll be a pretty close one, but Penix is, yeah, I'm a Penix guy, but I'm just not seeing enough of
Not a
leadership
lot of
from
you
him.
left.
Yeah, there's very few of us, and it's mostly just off of nostalgia at this point. But for this, I just think Carolina's a little more put together, but this game could go either way.
Well, ironically, I'm the Bryce guy, but I'm taking Atlanta. I do think it's over for Bryce as a starter, but that's we can have that talk another day. Um, fun fact, they're not favored probably because this game is in Atlanta, but did you know Carolina has outright lost the last 11 games that they were favored in, which includes this
That's
past week
insane.
against the Saints? Yeah, that's really difficult to do.
That's kind of
But
impressive.
Carolina has actually taken a big step forward. Their record is extremely deceiving. I don't think they're as good as I think they're 5-5. I don't think they're quite that good. I think they've just gotten hot at the end of some games.
Mhm.
I I don't know what to do with the Falcons, but I think that they'll be able to beat the Panthers. I don't even think that they're good, the Falcons.
No,
Drake London is playing a different game than everyone else right now,
they gotta
and
free that boy.
I feel like Atlanta will probably win this game because then they'll start to build hype of like maybe we can get hot, and then they'll lose inexplicably to whoever they play next week. It just has that kind of feel to it, and I don't know Carolina. I feel like last week or this past week playing the Saints and then losing in the way that they did, where they looked DOA. I don't know that feels like it could linger to me.
Next one we got is Packers and Giants. Giants coming off of their coach being fired. Dart status up in the air right now with the concussion protocol. I don't see a single reason why I should be picking New York, so clearly taking Green Bay on this one.
Yeah, I don't think they're even giving Russ the utensils. He is no not allowed near that kitchen. I yeah, I don't think there's a lot more to say. Green Bay. Sorry to the Giants. I don't think you're bereft of talent, and Dart has been better than I would have expected, but this feels like an inflection point for Green Bay. If they cannot convincingly manhandle the Giants, then I'm kind of out on them as contenders. You got to
I
show it
would
at some
agree.
point.
Yeah, you got to dominate who you're supposed to dominate. Next one, I think could potentially be the game of the week here is going to be Seahawks and Rams divisional game against
Easily
two
the game of the
absolute
week to me.
powerhouse offenses. Really interested to see how Stafford responds to this defense. They haven't had a lot of challenge so far this year, but they also haven't had Matt Stafford throwing to both Nakua and Devontae. I know Devontae is dealing with an oblique injury right now, so we'll see how he progresses throughout the week. But definitely think this is going to be some must-watch TV.
Devontae's dealing with a lingering injury, and then Puka is like that guy on your dynasty in college football where he has a lingering injury, and so he misses time like literally every week, but then he comes
Yes,
back and plays, and
the
he's
wear
never
and
healthy
tear.
enough to just get over it, but he's always too banged up to make it through the game. I took Seattle. I really like what they're doing this year. I think the Rams are also really good. I just really like Seattle. I think that they're just a really I don't know, man. I think that they're one of the top contenders in the league. And I know that's crazy because they have not been there before, but I think they go on the road here to the Intuit Dome and do it to him.
I'm also
That was
taking to
terrible.
see.
Don't give me that. That was so bad.
Hey, I got to give you something every now and then. Got to throw you a bone. Um, for this one, I also took Seattle, and it really comes down to when I look at both sides of the ball, two good offenses for sure, but I think the Seattle defense just far surpasses what the Rams defense can do. Not to say that the Rams defense is necessarily bad, but Seattle's is elite,
They got a
and
good unit, but yeah.
yeah, I think I just think they come away with it here. Next one that we got is Cardinals and 49ers. This is my upset pick of the week. I'm taking the Cardinals, and I have really no reason why. I have no idea why I'm doing it. My brain is telling me to stop doing it. Even as I'm saying it, it sounds absolutely ridiculous to me, but it's what I wrote down. Arizona beats San Francisco.
It's the Jacoby Brisket in you.
It is.
Um, I wish that I could go there with you, but I think that the Cardinals are just the island of misfit toys with no hope and promise, and they're just playing out a string. And then Gannon will get fired in the offseason, and they'll just start the whole cycle over again. I did read an article that suggested Kyler Murray should try football, which I think is crazy. Um, yeah, I can't pick Arizona. I'm gonna pick San Francisco. It doesn't even matter to me which quarterback starts. It's crazy the success the Niners are having this year with all their injuries.
Yeah, 6-4, despite not having 90% of their starting roster, it seems.
You want to take a
Next
quick break,
one.
Jesse?
Yes, we should absolutely take a quick break.
We'll be right back.
See ya. And welcome. False start.
Offense, 5 yard penalty. Replay the
Repeat
down.
first out. Welcome back, folks. I jumped the gun a little bit there, and then I had the nice Zoom lady tell me that we had just now started recording.
No,
What am
that's
I
holding.
holding now? You don't
Sorry.
even know your penalties. Anyway, welcome back to Spillin It Podcast. We're going to finish up our NFL picks, get into some NBA, and then we're going to have a little deranged fun here at the end. And I'm
Woo!
excited for our fun segments. Our next game then is going to be the Ravens and the Browns. Again, I don't think there's a lot that needs to be said about this one. Lamar's back. Derrick Henry is only half washed at this point, but I do think they have enough to win this game. Don't do it to me. Don't do
I
it.
can't do it. I thought a lot about it because I don't know if you'll recall all the way back in one of our earlier episodes, but the Browns are like above 500 over their last 12 or 13 at home. I really did think about it, but I think Baltimore has kind of found something a little bit defensively lately.
Yes, they
And
definitely have.
I don't know, their offense still seems kind of funky to me, but I believe so little in Dylan Gabriel that my take is that this will be the game. I don't remember if he's healthy anymore or not. If Shadur is healthy, I think he'll start next week. If he's not, then they'll
He
ride.
should. You got to see what you got at a certain point.
I remember him going on IR at one point though, and I don't know if
Yeah, back injury.
there, but I feel like we've answered the Dylan Gabriel question.
Yeah, and I think that question was mostly answered before it even
Yeah, I didn't need to
started.
draft him to know that, but
All right. Next matchup is Chiefs Broncos, and this one I struggled with a bit, but
I did not.
it's a 5-4 team versus an 8-2 team. But on with those records, what I see on the field is completely different. I took the Chiefs in this one simply because, again, the Broncos seem to always play to whoever they're around. And I don't think they have enough talent. I don't think they're good enough to play that kind of game with somebody like Patrick Mahomes. And I think the Chiefs take this one. And honestly, I looked at the ESPN app earlier and they said they had about a 60 something percent chance of winning this one, which I thought was interesting considering the record difference. But I think this one's going to start to restore some of the balance in the AFC West.
So I allowed myself one homer pick, and I made it this week.
Good for
And
you,
I
honestly.
decided, and now I'm going to build the case around the pick because
No,
I don't know
I'm
if I
here for it.
believe it, but it is in Denver. No Sertan, but the Broncos do have some good corners still. I
They
think that
do.
they can play the kind of man coverage that they're going to need to play to make this competitive. And I don't know, man. This Broncos team, I don't think is an 8-2 team that you would think of. You know, a team like even the Colts, right, who have mostly
Yeah.
steamrolled people or at least looked pretty competent and a couple losses. You know, there's been some funky Broncos games. They played a weird Thursday night game against the
It
Raiders.
did. That was a weird game.
I'm no less sold on Bo Nix now than I was last year, even though the record is demonstrably better. A team of destiny, man. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to. I just feel like the Broncos have that weird like we're gonna somehow win like 13 games, even though we have no business doing it. Their schedule is also really difficult upcoming, and they kind of need to win at least one of these Chiefs games if they want to have any
Mhm.
shot at maintaining their hold of the division because the Chargers are right on their heels. I took Denver. I don't really have as much nuanced. This is why they'll do it. I
Yeah,
just
sometimes you
oh,
just got to feel it.
homer pick, baby.
I love it. Next one, the Sunday night game is going to be Lions and Eagles. I think this is going to be a great matchup as well. If it's not the Seahawks Rams as the matchup of the week, I think it's this one. I went ahead and took Detroit. I think the Eagles are due for a stinker here. They didn't necessarily look great
I was gonna say
against Green
they
Bay.
kind of just had one.
It didn't necessarily look great, but I think this is going to be one of those games that the holes on the defensive side start to show. And Lane Johnson going down with an injury last night was a pretty big deal, and I think we're
Mhm.
going to start to see that on the other end this week more so. You know, a lot of that adrenaline kind of carries over through the game. You got to get thrown into the game, but I think we're going to see that massive difference in the protection moving forward. So for this one, I took the Lions. I think it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be close, but I'm going Detroit.
Yeah, I also toyed with this one for a while. I also went with Detroit. I really think Lane Johnson, his availability is a huge question mark. I just haven't liked what I've seen from the Eagles this year. They're still good, but they are all sorts of broken. Talk about bad vibes, despite
Hmm.
being 7-2. And I think Detroit, even though their record isn't as good as it has been in years past, are just a really good football team.
Yes.
And I think they're playing good ball. I think they showed some interesting wrinkles this week to their offense. They used more Jamison Williams more as a type
Yeah.
of actual real receiver than like just schemed up gadget plays, which they haven't really done a whole lot of in this point in his career. I was pulled to pick Detroit.
Yeah. And then the Monday night game, this one, how do we go from such a great Monday night matchup against two teams that we consider contenders
It is a
to
bad game.
Cowboys and Raiders? Like, come on now.
Arguably, Jesse, I think this game will be better.
That's the funniest part is it probably will be more entertaining, but quality of football overall, we'll see. For this one, I took the Cowboys. I just like Dak.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb's back. I think Javante. I don't think the Raiders have an answer for that offense. I know they got some good players on their side defensively, but I don't think Gino has anything that is going to be able to compete with what they have on the other side.
Yeah, I also took Dallas. I really wrestled with taking Vegas. They're just so weird. Like
So
I don't
weird.
know what to expect from them any week. And as I've mentioned many times throughout the weeks of our picks here, when in doubt, I just go with the unit that I feel the best about, and that's the Dallas offense. So I don't think Dallas is any good and certainly not consistent, but I think they're good enough to handle the Raiders.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are all the picks for the week. We're going to transition very quickly into some NBA. There's a lot of things going on with basketball. And I do still think it's a little too early to make a lot of determinations about teams, but wanted to highlight some of the surprises as far as records go. And then a really interesting score quirk that I want to highlight as well. But biggest surprises for me right now are on the good side of things, Detroit at 9-2, Miami at 7 and
Yeah.
4. I was not high on Miami going into it, and I said that on the podcast. I think they're doing a lot, and it just goes to show you Spoelstra is him. You know, he
He's
always has
so
been
him.
that
It's not
guy.
even funny because Hero hasn't even played, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
that's he's just winning games. Just winning games. That's all it amounts to. Detroit at 9-2. I love what I've seen from Cade. I want him to be a little more efficient from the floor, but he's distributing well. Over almost 10 assists a game right now,
Mhm.
looking like a true good starting point guard. On the flip side, really disappointed in the start from Orlando. I know it takes time for guys to break in, but you got to win games. When you are supposed to be one of the teams that people are saying are going to be a contender in a wide open East this year, you got to win games. And 5-6 just isn't cutting it right now.
Yeah, their on-off splits with Jalen Suggs are eyebrow raising. I mean,
Yeah,
they just had a game. I forget who they played, but I was reading this. They were like plus 21 with him on the floor and minus 24 with him off, and they lost by like
outrageous.
4 or 5. Well, actually, they lost by 3, duh, because that's how that works. I want to rewind real quick. Jamie Jaquez or Jaime Jaquez, crazy good start to the year.
Yes,
11 in 11 games, no starts, of course. He is playing like 30 minutes a game, but he's averaging 17 and a half points, 7.5 boards, 5 dimes. Crazy good start. And the Heat, Adebayo has missed a couple games already. Hero hasn't played. They've just been really, really impressive. The Spurs also want to highlight
Yes.
them. They've been really impressive to start the year. Unfortunately, still have the Lakers without LeBron. Um, yeah, Orlando's got to figure it out because that conference is there for the taking. And I am pretty disappointed in the Clippers.
Yes,
Kawhi
they're on
already
my
got
list
hurt
as well.
again. Um, Dallas has also been pretty bad for a team that I thought might have a chance to make the postseason. I do want to briefly, I know it's we're kind of sworn to do this. The Pacers have had some pretty uncompetitive losses, but they've also had some really competitive losses. And
Yes.
for a team that reacquired its own draft pick, that's all I can ask for.
Right. And
Hate giving the Nets their first win of the season, but you win
I'm
some.
kind of here for it though. I really am. And after I got about 3 games into the season, and I will be completely transparent. I know people that watch the pod know that I said the Pacers were making the playoffs. That was
We do
before
have those receipts, Jesse.
we do have those receipts. You know what? I'm owning it. And had everyone stayed healthy, I still believe in that because when we had a healthy roster that first game against OKC, we looked pretty darn good. So
Mhm.
for me, that is not something that I'm necessarily ashamed of saying. It's just the circumstances changed. And honestly, I think the franchise is doing the right thing by letting guys take a little longer than they probably need to come back from these injuries. And why not move yourself up some draft slots? Because a top three in this upcoming draft, or
Whew.
even a top five, is going to be franchise altering for what is going to happen,
I want
right?
Boozer so bad. I know
I want
Debanza
him
is
so
also a
bad.
monster, but I give me Cameron Boozer. I need
Yep,
him
give me
so bad.
Cam now because if you put Cam on that team, it's over. We're running the East for years.
I'm pretty comfortable with where the Pacers are right now. Just lose games, get a good draft pick, just make it happen.
See what you
That's
got in
just what the
Jarris
season is
Walker,
going to be this
which
year.
Jarris is. I'm worried about Jarris Walker right now.
It is like we made the zombie fever joke. I don't know that there's a word for that we could use to make for the Pacers. There's no
It's
comparison.
rough. It's rough.
Zombie fever were one thing, but these are like the fossil fever.
Yes, like
They are
this is.
beyond dead.
Yeah, it's looking ugly. One stat that I wanted to point out here. I want to put you on the spot. I'm going to try to have you guess something here without looking it up. All right.
Okay.
There are currently 5 players. So Luka Doncic is the sixth one, but he's only played 7 games, so he doesn't currently qualify for this. But there are currently 5 players that qualify that are averaging 30 points a game. Okay, I'm going to give you 4 of them, and I want you to try to guess the last one. Okay,
Okay.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, he has over 33 points a game, leading the league right now. Tyrese Maxey, SGA, Donovan Mitchell. Who is number 5?
Damn. Um,
I'll let you have half of it here. Western Conference.
it's not Austin Reeves, is it?
It is Austin Reeves. Atta boy, great job.
I did. I looked at it. I looked at these numbers like this morning. So not the. I do also have them up on my computer, but as soon as you said without looking,
I saw your eyes shift. I appreciated that.
yeah.
No,
Um,
and Reeves is the only one out of those 5 who's doing it on under 20 field goal attempts a game.
he's balling, bro. Like
He
there's
is
just
balling.
there's just no other way to say
9 assists a game and 5 boards. Are you kidding me?
it's not sustainable. I don't believe that, but like he was kind of an afterthought after all the roster shifts, but keeping him was huge, I think, for the Lakers.
Absolutely huge,
Clearly, I mean,
especially
if he's
right
going to
now.
do this, he's literally, I'm looking at the stats page now. He's literally top five in the league in scoring and assists. And like you said, it's not on like crazy volume. This isn't like I know he's hurt right now, but this isn't like a Cam Thomas situation where it's
Or like
like,
a Jordan Poole just
or a Jordan Poole, which
shucking with
I'm pretty
baddies
sure we
courtside.
said Jordan Poole was on the Wizards in our preview. He is not. He's on the Pelicans.
I
Um,
completely forgot that.
I just kept he's so forgettable that I literally forgot that he had been part of the CJ McCollum trade. But
Incredible.
yeah, Austin Reeves, man, shout out to him. I hate giving props to a Laker, but and
If
also
we're going to, it's going to be him.
one other young player making a huge leap that I want to shout out, Jalen Duren, dude.
Absolutely. I love
Top
Durham.
five in the league in rebounding. His scoring, he's not scoring almost 20 points a game. Big part of why the Pistons have managed to take that leap forward is Jalen Duren just becoming a dude. Him and Cade together. when they were rookies, kind of looked like, okay, yeah, we've got some good young players here. Like they have promise, but now
Yeah,
they look like dudes, and that's a
they look like absolute
huge,
dudes.
huge deal for Detroit.
One more guy I want to shout out. I know this really doesn't need to be shouted out by me because he is everywhere. Wembanyama's starting to look like the 2K simulation version of Wembanyama, and it's
Oh
over
my
for
God.
everybody. He is an
Averaging
absolute freak.
3.9 blocks per game.
It's like a block and a half more than anybody else, right?
Yes.
Absolutely insane.
25 points, 12 and a half rebound. Well, 25.7 points, 12.8 rebounds. Points are 12th in the league. Rebounds are third. He's averaging 3.5 assists, which obviously is nowhere
Okay,
near the leaderboard, but it's still crazy.
still,
And he's shooting 50% from the floor, which is pretty good considering, he's not only shooting at the rim.
right.
Man, he's so good. He is, every now and then you have those prospects where they don't go to a team you root for, but you're like, God, you're supposed to be so good that I hope you work out because you're going to be so fun to watch. And they don't
Uh,
always work out, but man, Wembanyama, he going the Batman Begins route this offseason has worked
uh-huh.
wonders for him.
He
Ra's
almost
al
went the
Ghul
Doctor Strange
taught him how
route
to run a
too.
team.
I love it. All right. So we'll check in again on the NBA here as we continue through on. We'll probably talk about it more in depth as we both
Yeah,
have more time to watch ball and as more teams start to kind of actually show us who they are. But pop culture segment,
I'm
you
so
you
ready.
texted me and you let me set this up for you guys. All right. This guy texts me. I'm at work and he's like, I have a chaotic idea for pop culture. I want to do it, but if it's too chaotic, we can do something else. And I'm like, I gotta know, right? As soon as he said it, I was on board. So please take it away. Let us know what are we doing here?
So, interestingly enough, I kind of had three ideas and I gave them all to Jesse, but Jesse and I picked the same one as an option. So we're gonna holster those other two for later episodes. Um, so our pop culture segment for this week is pick a movie and replace every character but one with Muppets, and then kind of pitch it to me or each other. So,
Okay.
which character are you keeping as not a Muppet, and why?
Okay. All right. So
And
I
but
have
you don't
two.
have to assign other characters the role of Muppets,
They're
but
just a
or like
Muppet.
specific Muppets.
Yeah.
But if you want to, you have that artistic liberty.
Yeah. So I have two
Yes,
that I
I
I,
also
I
have two.
actually I actually really had three, but I'm gonna keep it to two for right now, and I'll see what yours are because
Okay,
I'll
I
mention it
promise you,
afterwards.
mine are not yours.
So my first one is the Hunger Games. I'm keeping Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen.
Okay,
Everyone else is a Muppet. I need a scene at the end of Mockingjay Part 2 where I have Jennifer Lawrence tearfully talking to like Sam Eagle about who's playing President Snow.
of
And
course he is.
he's like, you know, you and I both know I'm not above killing children, right? Like I need this dialogue from Sam Eagle or from some other Muppet, and just like the entire arena just being Muppets, but her, she's chasing them down with the bow and arrow. I need it absolutely. My second one is Titanic, but I'm
Okay,
keeping Kate Winslet as Rose, and
okay. Who's
everyone else
Jack?
is a Muppet. Um, that's a tough one. I feel like
Not to put you
Kermit's
on the
a
spot.
it's an easy choice to have Kermit, but it'd be funnier if it was like Swedish Chef or
I
something
was about to
weird.
say, could I pose you Ralph?
Ralph would be a great one. But I told this to Ashlyn earlier, my wife, and I was like, can you imagine instead of like the bands, you have the penguins from Muppet Vision 3D playing as the ship's going down?
Bold of you not to choose Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, but I kind of respect it because I feel like they're too critical to be. I feel like the Penguins is funnier because then like the ship goes
Right?
down and the water consumes them and then they're just like, oh yeah, we can swim,
We're
and then
good
they
with
just
this.
keep playing.
But I just need like Kate Winslet with her arms out at the end of the ship with like Swedish Chef wrapping his arms around her.
Or what's his name? The big guy, Sweetums? Is that his name? Like
Yes,
the giant
Sweetums, yes.
monster? Like he's just like Cade is like staring into the distance, and Sweetums is or the Swedish Chef is good. I like that. Although, all right, so my two, and then we'll come back because I want to hear your honorable mention. I tried to be interesting here. One of them I think is really really bold. The other one is not. The first movie that came to my mind was John Wick. Um,
Excellent. Excellent
I
choice.
am obviously I'm keeping John Wick. Everybody else is a Muppet. And there was a movie, I think it was called like the Happy Time Murders or something that was essentially was this premise. But I just think it would be so funny. Um, Also, I'm picking Rizzo is the dog.
Excellent.
I thought about Animal, but I just don't think he would it would be as funny.
Rat
Um,
Schmat.
so Rizzo's the dog, and John Wick, Keanu Reeves is just going through all this, and what's his name? Is Stewart? What the like the manager guy, Scotty?
Oh, it's something along
My
those
mom would
lines.
kill me for
Yes.
not knowing this, but he's the guy that runs the hotel where all the like the assassins stay at. Like I see it so clearly in my mind,
Scooter.
and
It's Scooter is his name.
Scooter, thank you. I knew it was
Scooter.
something. And then like I feel like in this one, Kermit is I want like Kermit as the main bad guy just because in like the Muppet movie 2 that came out recently, or Muppets Most Wanted, I think it was called. I just loved the Kermit with his like fake Russian accent, like I am Kermit, was so good. Um, and then like Fozzie Bear is just like trading shots with John Wick, and of course my vision for this is they're doing the exact same actions that they do in the movie,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
shooting,
Absolutely.
whatever, but the dialogue is all Muppet. Like, and some of the Muppets are talking like they're like they don't know how they got there, but they're like trading bullet. Like, I don't know why I'm shooting at you, John Wick. That's my vision for Muppet John Wick. My other one is even more deranged. I'm so sorry. I have chosen Anora as my other Muppet movie. Um, and the only human that I'm keeping is not a Nora, but the
Oh,
boyfriend. I'm keeping the boyfriend as the person. Sorry, Cheyenne's dying in the background. I want a Nora to be played by Miss Piggy. Um, I want like the henchman, the head cleaner guy. The henchman guy is being played by the Swedish chef because I want Miss Piggy and the Swedish chef just like arguing, yelling at each other, trying to find the boy. Also, I think the boyfriend being human makes it so much funnier.
oh, that's so good.
Miss Piggy spends the whole movie just hunting this man down. Like, where did you go? We're married. Like, where did you go? Um, yeah. So I'm going with Muppet and Nora.
Incredible.
Greenlight me right now. I think it would fit the movie.
Absolutely.
I think it would be so funny.
I'm set. I already am setting up my AMC pass to go see it.
What's your honorable mention?
Ah, I feel bad for this one, but it's the thing that makes most sense to me. Oppenheimer, but keeping Cillian Murphy as Dr. Oppenheimer,
I
and
love
just
it.
like having him have this existential crisis and turning over at the end of the movie and talking to Kermit, just Kermit like putting his green hand on him or something. Uh, just the one of the most heavy gravitas movies that we've had in recent memory, but just all the Muppets screaming at everything happening.
I'm imagining, him like giving that a great monologue and being like, we can this be done even? Like, should this be done? And then it pans over to Beaker and he's like, me, 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 me. But you're right, Beaker. We have to do it.
Robert Downey Jr.'s character getting played by Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
That's so good. Who plays who plays the girl that seduces him? It can't be Miss Piggy. I feel like it's got to be
No, that's too easy.
Janet
Yeah,
from Electric Teeth or something like that.
it has to be. Yeah,
That's so good. Or it's Fozzie Bear. Just
it has to. Yeah,
inexplicably, it's just Fozzie Bear.
for no reason.
Gonzo in there somewhere.
Gonzo would be a great one, actually.
Yeah, I couldn't think of who. Gonzo is definitely in Muppet and Nora. I just couldn't think of which specific character. Um,
I could do this all night. I really could.
I know it's just such a fun prompt. I saw it like years ago, and it burned itself into my brain as
Well,
like,
I'm
God,
glad.
that's
I'm
such a fun
glad.
game. All right, so we're gonna save the other two for the next time. But Jesse also had, God, we're honestly pat
We
on
were
our
cooking.
backs
Yeah,
for
we
these
were
great ideas.
cooking.
Jesse had a great idea for our other fun segment of the week, which I think is just our fun segment. I don't think we have a more exciting name for it, but it
Yeah,
is
it's a fun
fun.
segment.
So tell us what we got, Jesse.
So this one, we're going back to our drafts,
Jesse
where we
loves a
get to.
draft.
I love a good draft. I love a good draft. Ashlyn and I will actually do this in the car sometimes, where we'll just be like, "Hey, let's draft our favorite Coldplay songs from this era," and we're like, we'll just go back and forth. So for this one, we're gonna do pick five because I just think there's too many of them instead of doing like a pick three or four or whatever it
Jesse
was
also
last
loves a
time.
pick five.
I do love a pick five. You saw me the pick two at Buffalo Wild Wings. That was the highlight of my year, honestly.
I have seen
But
him take down some choices, folks. Let me tell you.
so for this one, we're gonna five picks each of nostalgic sports games. So for this one, the limitation was PS3, Xbox 360, or Nintendo Wii era games or earlier. So everything from there on backwards are
I think I
eligible to be
have.
picked for this one.
I didn't fact check, but I'm pretty sure all mine meet the criteria. I came up with
Honestly, I'm
like
not
10
going to check
options.
you. I am way too exhausted to fact check anymore at this point. AI has ruined every bit of my objective reality. But I'll go ahead and give you the first pick for this one. We'll do it snake
I get the
style.
first bit. Oh, you're gonna regret that, buddy.
So I'm very interested. I have a list of 15 games here because it was very difficult for me to not at least have some an honorable mention.
Okay, well, you're gonna be really pissed, because I promise you that this game was at the top of your list, but I'm checking something real quick.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to check the name of the original one to make sure I was correct. I'm taking Mario Super Sluggers.
Excellent game. Yep, that was on
Yeah,
my list.
I knew
Excellent
it
game.
would be. It's
It's
just
a first round pick, no matter how you slice
something
it.
about it is just so good. I don't even remember the gameplay. I mean, the gameplay is fine. It's just like something about it, like going around and like beating teams and being like, I'm
Yep.
taking Nat Shy Guy to play left
Yep.
field. Like, God, it was so intoxicating. Easy
It's
first choice for me. A little bit of
I
game
still
theory,
play it.
a little bit of game theory for me because I have other games that I probably personally would take above it, but I was concerned. I wanted it to come home with me, and so
Yes.
pick 1-1.
Yep. Sometimes you gotta take the big juicy peach right in front of you. I get it. Yeah, I still play it. I was able to figure out how to get my GameCube set up so that I could convert it into HDMI. And sometimes during my summer vacation, I'll just pop it on there and I'll go do a mushroom cup real quick, just for
Hmm.
nostalgia's sake. But there's so much to that game that you know just you don't even see on the surface. It's so much fun. Alrighty, so that adjusts some of my picks, but that actually does make it a little easier for me. I'm also going with a baseball game myself here, and I'm going to take MVP Baseball 2005, back when EA Sports was doing baseball games. I spent a concerning amount of time playing that game. Especially they had a mini game on it that was like spring training where you hit the ball onto these ramps and you were like trying to get multipliers and like
Hmm.
multiplied by the distance that you hit the ball and you had to like place it. It was a ton of fun. Absolute ton of fun. So back to me for second round.
Hmm.
This one's tough. Um, I feel safe in this pick, knowing that I still have some of my other things later. ESPN NFL 2K5, the last 2K football
Sure.
game
Yeah,
before EA ruined football games forever.
they
Um,
did do that.
it is still holds up to this day as one of the greatest games I've ever played.
Okay, interesting. I'm realizing now. So, question for you.
Mhm.
It's not on my list because I didn't consider it a retro sports game. Do you have Mario Kart on your list?
I don't, but I will allow
Okay.
it.
No,
I'll
I'm
allow it.
not gonna take it. I was curious if you were gonna take it because then I would be like, damn, I needed to think about that. I'm glad neither of us considered Mario Kart. Uh-oh. Jesse, you with us? Oh no.
What in the world just happened? Here we go.
I don't know. I saw you spin and flip and then you went mute.
We gotta leave that in.
Okay. All right. Anyway, okay, so with my second pick and then my third pick right after. Ooh, I didn't think about that. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna take what is actually my favorite sports game of all time, NHL Hits 2003.
Excellent pick. Excellent
Um,
pick.
Not a hockey guy. It's actually one of the major sports. I really just like. I don't have a team. I don't really follow it. Usually, I just root for whatever Canadian team has a shot, which is nobody. I was a brief Lightning fan when I lived in Tampa Bay, and then the years after, but now it wasn't enough of a passion. NHL Hits is just so much fun, man. You could
So
just
good.
maul people on that ice.
So good.
And like honestly, that's more fun than playing the actual hockey. But we used to just play the crap out of that growing up as
Oh,
kids.
yeah.
So that's my second pick. My third pick is MLB Power Pros.
Excellent game.
So you played a lot of like real baseball games growing up, and I just played MLB Power Pros.
Yep.
Um, that's just what we had. We didn't have an Xbox until like I was in high school. We had a Wii.
Yeah,
And so I played the crap out of Power Pros. It was fun, man. Like the career mode was actually really adept and fun,
it was.
and the announcer changed his voice and accent repeatedly with no explanation. Butchered MLB players' names all the time. Ryan Braun was Ryan Brown when he was really excited. Great game.
Awesome. So I got back-to-back picks. So this is my third pick. I'm going to go ahead and take Wii Sports. Just
Okay.
the OG Wii
Yeah,
Sports
I thought about it. I didn't put it on my list, but it's a
uh,
great choice.
with bowling, baseballs. What else was on that?
Boxing.
Golf, tennis, boxing.
Yeah, those
Yo,
five.
that one guy in the boxing, he messed me up.
Matt had hands, man.
Matt, man, he
He put
was
you on the couch.
terrifying. So fourth for me, I'm gonna go ahead and take Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
I knew you would, and I knew
Yep,
you would wait because you knew I wouldn't take it.
exactly. And I strategized that in my mind. And if this was actually how I was going to draft it, I probably would have taken it first overall.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest, but I knew I was safe because I knew who I was drafting against.
It's
You
so
know?
fun. We know each other so well that when your first choice wasn't Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I'm like, he knows that I'm not
Yep.
going to take it. He's
Yep.
just
And
holding it in
honestly,
the
I probably
chamber.
could have waited to the last round, but I didn't want you to do it just
Oh, because
to
we
be
have
petty.
two more picks.
Yes. So
Shoot.
you got two more.
Okay. Well, this is incredible value for me. Which one? I'm gonna go with backyard football. It's hard between baseball and backyard football.
They're
I'm gonna
both
take
so
the
good.
football one. Um, I just played honestly probably an equal amount of both, but I'm gonna lean football because I don't have a football game right now. That's just I'm building an all-star squad here. Um, and so I'm not gonna take backyard baseball, though I am tempted. I'm gonna take FIFA World Cup '02. Um,
Ooh, yes.
a really good game. It just also was like the highlight. Again, it was another one of those like we just played so much of it as kids. Honestly, we still to this day play FIFA. It's like the one game my dad like consistently will play, and every now and then it's been a long time. Obviously, I don't live at home anymore, but even like as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, we would occasionally boot up the GameCube just to play that specific
Oh yeah.
FIFA.
That was
But
the Korea Japan one, correct?
yes, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. I
Right,
think I
the
still
slide
have that
tackle. We
actually.
used to lose so many games because you'd have too many red cards to continue play.
Slide tackle the I would always take Ronaldo, like the OG Ronaldo
Yeah,
from Brazil, and I would just slide tackle every single time on the goalie. Just a
yeah.
good pastime.
One of the last soccer games I remember where you could actually slide tackle the goalie.
Oh yeah. All right. So I got one more pick here. Man, this is tough. This is tough. So I'm just recapping. I got my baseball game, I got my arcade game, got football, I got my skateboarding game. Okay. We're definitely gonna have to do some honorable mentions here.
Oh yeah, I have a couple.
For this one, no, I'm gonna go for it. And this has nothing to do with my frustration with them and how they've done things in recent years, but Madden 2005, I think, was the pinnacle of Madden.
It's on my list. You can't
Yep.
see that, but it's
Yep.
on my list.
Yeah, the Ray Lewis cover, with the
Yeah,
training camp, the owner mode, and all the things that you could do within
it
that for its time was
was so
so
good.
in depth and so much fun. You had the Madden cards that you could do, and you could kick like a 110-yard field goal with one of them. Like it
It
was
was
just,
for its time. It's more advanced than games now,
it is, it
honestly.
is. It was so in depth, and it gave you a reason to want to continue buying it because they kept trying to push the envelope. Because in '06 they introduced Superstar, and then they expanded Superstar even more, and '07 was one of the all-time greats. But
Great
Madden
soundtrack
'05
too.
to me, oh yeah, the soundtrack on '05 was outrageously good.
Um, it is funny to me that we both had the same Madden game
Yep.
on our list. Also the second time in this podcast that we've referenced Madden 2005. I think we talked about it in a
In
previous
five
episode.
episodes, we've talked about it twice, so 40% return rate. EA Sports, give us a sponsor.
Real quick, my honorable mentions. I had backyard baseball. I had NBA Courtside 2003. It was like the
Ooh,
first basketball game that we had. It was just like so fun. I have the theme song burned into my memory, and we would like do the street ball version. which 2K still has, where you would like draft a couple pros and just play like to 21 on the
Yeah.
street. A lot of fun. I used to play a ton of seasons. Stojakovic was my god in that game. I would
Oh
like
yeah.
rain threes. I also had Mario Golf.
I did as well.
Great
Yep.
game. The most recent one, which was not eligible for this, but the most recent one I played a lot more of than I thought I would. Um, and then I actually had the first Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games on my
The
honorable
first one
mention.
was great.
I feel like they kind of lost their luster when they just kept coming out, but the
Right.
first one like was a really cool experience playing all the Olympic
Hmm.
competitions, especially like like long jump and javelin and stuff that like you don't play in other games. I think was a lot of
Right. All right. So for some of mine, I had MLB The Show 2006. I don't know how good of a game it was, but that for me was like one of the first times I played Road to the Show, and just like the concept of taking a guy through the minors was so much fun.
fun.
And obviously they continued to have that over and over again year after year, but that was really like the first my career mode I ever played in that kind of detail. Mario Super Strikers, the soccer
Yeah,
game. I love the art style of that game. I always thought it was really cool. Um, I do want to give a shout out. I don't think it's one of the best of all time, but I do want to give a shout out to the return of NCAA football last year. There was just
yep.
something about the feeling that first couple weeks that we got that game that was just
I took
unparalleled.
off work.
And
I played it straight
oh,
for like 20 hours.
you and I were like at 100 hours at a concerningly fast point.
Hmm.
It was so much fun. NBA Street Volume 2, excellent game.
That's a great one. It's in my room in here somewhere.
Very nice. Throwing it way back to NBA Jam. Just classic fun arcade game.
Hmm.
Like having two guys that you play with. And then, in my opinion, the best 2K ever was NBA 2K11. I think that's
Yeah.
really
Oh, it was
in
so
that
good.
era. 2K11 was the absolute peak, and I missed that era of 2K before everything became microtransactions. But there's just so many great games that we played over the years. And I know you and I both are pretty heavy into gaming, especially with the sports games. But this was really fun to just kind of go
Yeah.
back and be like, oh yeah, I remember that one.
One more that I thought of literally in the middle of this conversation, NASCAR Dirt to Daytona.
Oh,
Not
it's been a
great,
minute.
actually good gameplay. It still holds up, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, this is very like tied to my like growing up with my family. Sometimes we would just play the four-person race, and if you fell behind, you would turn around and just start driving
You
head on
just
and try to take out the
yes.
other drivers. And if you could wreck the other three drivers, then the race was we would quit because we're like, yeah, it had this mechanic where it would like calculate your pit stop based on how much damage you had, and like
Yep.
you would pull into that thing with like your car flattened, and it would literally in real time take an hour to repair. And so we would be like, we're not doing that.
We're done here.
Very bugged, broken mechanic, but that was a lot of fun to play as kids.
Awesome. This was a great episode. Good to be back, and
Good to be
hopefully we
back. Yeah.
got some more consistency rolling here as we continue. Maybe we'll debut the pets the next time and bring them
Yeah.
onto the camera. Um, I would bring mine right now, but he is currently zonked and he needs to sleep.
Ours is kind of quarantined until we get her we think her maybe a he. Well, stay tuned. We're going to the vet on Friday, and we're gonna get some shots. So we're kind of keeping our new kitty cat a little separate just until we make sure that everybody's safe and all
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Good call. Alrighty, man. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. We will see you guys hopefully sooner than we did the last time, but as always, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and now Apple Music. We're able to get that up and running. But having a lot of fun with this. If you guys have any suggestions for us, please let us know. The five of you that watch us every single week can probably just text us what you're thinking.
And we'll take it.
And yeah, we'll take it. We'll take any advice that you have. We'll see you next time.
Adios.